Hi everybody, this is Steve and welcome to What If, the show about movies that don't exist. How's it going, Meg?
It's going pretty well. I'm glad you're back.
Yes, I was in Pittsburgh for the weekend, and while I was there, I picked up something that you might be interested in. It was a little movie gift for you,
Oh, okay.
which I wanted to give you live on the airwaves.
Yeah, I know nothing about this.
Yeah.
All right.
Alright. Well, here, close your eyes and hold out your hands.
I'm closing my eyes.
This makes for great podcasting.
Yeah, the audio must be thrilling right now.
I promise this is actually happening as I'm
Okay.
saying it.
Yeah, should I open
you
my
can
eyes
open
now?
them
Okay. Okay, what I'm looking at now is an old CD case. Sony
DVD.
DVD, if you will. And the
A
title
digital
of
video
it,
disc.
the title of it written in Sharpie is Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
Yes, I know you're a big fan of episode 2, so I got the CD for you.
Let it be known to the podcast that I have never seen, nor do I ever intend to watch the Star Wars.
Well, now you can if you
prequels.
ever change your mind.
Now oh my god. So there is 3 DVDs, and I feel like the average Star Wars fan can know where this is going.
Yeah.
So underneath it, we have Star Wars, written in all caps this time. So it really sets the mood. Episode...
They're yelling it.
They're yelling Star Wars at me. Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
You know, that one's actually considered the best of the prequels, so...
You know what? That's not a very high standard to break, but I'm
personally,
excited for
Attack of the Clones is one of my least favorites, but Phantom Menace is my least favorite.
Okay.
But at least I didn't give you that one, because the final CD is Attack of the Clones on DVD. Clone Wars, the cartoon.
Did you... Oh, okay,
so
okay.
that one's actually good. So I put them in escalating order of entertainment value.
For a second, I thought you got me 2 copies of Episode 2, and I was just thrilled.
No, you want to hear where I got them from?
I want to hear, yes.
I've actually had these all year at my apartment. I was visiting my friend's apartment. He lives in what looks like a really Shining-esque hotel. It's actually very scary in there. There's mirrors on the ceiling and stuff.
Yes. Let it be
It's
known
very
to the
creepy.
podcast, again, that Stephen has never seen nor read The Shining.
I haven't seen The Shining, but I think I have a firm grasp on the
What the
themes.
hotel looks like.
Yeah, and what it looks like.
Hotel, snow,
So,
door, basically.
yeah, so I guess it didn't really look like that, but it had similar vibes, if that makes sense. But I came out of the elevator one day, and just sitting at the top of the stairs on a little table was all these DVDs. And I assumed that nobody wanted them since they left them there, so I packed them up, and I've had them ever since. I just need a DVD player, and then we can watch all 3 of those if we want.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. I appreciate the gifts. They're very thoughtful.
Yes,
Of
absolutely.
giving me something I would never buy for myself.
And free.
And free, yeah.
Also, so you're welcome.
All right, so that brings us into the main portion of our podcast, where we get our tagline, the show about movies that don't exist. Because today, we're going head-to-head.
A little competition.
A little competition in a Batman battle royale. So Stephen and I are very big fans of Mr. Bruce Wayne, also known as the Caped Crusader, also known as the Dark Knight. And today we thought that we would both pick our picks for what we believe would make the best Batman live-action cinematic experience. So what we've done is kind of picked our own comics, kind of lined out what we want it to be, and we're gonna tell each other for the first time now on air. We don't know each other's picks, and we're gonna just fight and see who.
And I guess we'll have to decide amongst ourselves because there's only 2 of us, and there's
no audience participation.
No audience participation yet. Stay tuned, though, audience.
Yes.
For coming weeks, because that might be a possibility.
All right, so I'm excited to hear your pick. So let's just get into it.
Actually, I think I'll have you start.
You'll have me start.
I'd like to have you start. I would like to do the second round.
Okay.
The follow-up.
Okay.
So I can tailor my response based on what you say.
How every battle should work.
Yeah.
All right, so...
Well, we can do a coin toss if you'd like.
I'll go first.
Okay.
I'll go. I'll take your
I
card.
don't have a coin, so...
Yeah.
I was hoping you wouldn't call my bluff that I had the
Hey,
coin.
Siri. So, I kind of broke the rules a little bit.
Oh, yeah?
In that this isn't a Batman comic, per se. This is a Robin comic.
I gotcha. Yeah, technically a Robin comic.
Technically a Robin
it says
comic.
Robin on top of it.
It's my pick. Officially, the full name is Robin Volume 1 Reborn. It's written by Chuck Dixon and Alan Grant, and illustrated by Norm Brayfogle and Tom Lyle. Now, Chuck Dixon he does write by Robin. I really appreciate it. And I believe this came out in 1954. So, and that plays a pivotal role in what I'm about to explain. So, without further ado, the title of the comic is Robin Volume 1 Reborn. Now, obviously that is not a good name for a movie. So, the working title I have is just Batman and Robin. A Batman and Robin movie is what we want. Because on the cover here, you see both Batman and you know what, I'm going to say it's not my favorite depiction of Robin because if you can see this, feel free to look it up at home.
Yeah, maybe we could include a link in the thumbnail or something.
Yeah. It's, he looks, I would say 35. He's covering his face like he's Batman. Batman's standing behind him with a very disapproving glare. And there's the Eiffel Tower behind them, which is included in the story, but I don't know why they went for it for the cover. So basically what I'm thinking is because this is a period piece, it should be a period movie. So I'm thinking 50s or 60s.
50s or 60s? Interesting. Not 80s?
Not
when it originally
80s.
Came out?
I believe this originally came out in 1954.
1954, really? I thought it was actually significantly later than that.
Let me check.
I thought for sure it was the 80s.
Ooh, Library of Congress, cataloging and publication data. Chuck Dixon, 1950. Oh, no, that was when Chuck Dixon was born. Let me see.
It seemed a little early.
Yeah, I thought that was wrong. Okay, copyright.
It was only a couple years after Captain America punched Hitler. So.
Copyright 1990. Little different, right?
1990.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's more what I was thinking.
Okay, I can't read very well. It's fine.
Yeah, that's, I guess, why we are a movie podcast and not a pure book podcast.
So it's 1990, but I do believe that it should be a period piece. This should be 1950s, 1960s Batman.
You're still thinking 1950s, 1960s? Just as, like, a throwback to, like, is it going to be, like, a campy or 60s Batman? Like Adam
I
West?
want it to look very stylized. Because the thing is that I don't like about the Batman movies that have came before is that they're dark.
Yeah.
Especially
they
if we're
by nature dark.
Especially if we're talking about Zack Snyder, the most recent man to take on the Bat. It's so heavily stylized in the way I don't want it to be. Like, I don't want Gotham to be some, hell pit, like garbage everywhere, like dark, nighttime all the time. I want Gotham to be a functioning city that by night it gets rough. I like the criminal underworld of Batman. I don't like don't go out in 12 noon or you'll get definitely killed or branded by Batman. So I want full red, yellow, green for Robin. I want Batman to have the blue tinge with the gray suit underneath.
Yeah, that's something that they don't really have too much in the movies. I don't think they've ever done a blue Batman. So you're thinking of blue Batman in general?
I'm thinking the highlights be blue. When he catches the light, it's blue, but it has that kind of black sheen to it.
So you're thinking long ear Batman? I'm
thinking long ear Batman.
Cool.
I think that Batman should be a figure of he is a dark figure and he's in a dark place, but
Dark Knight, if you will.
But Robin in himself is supposed to be the kind of ray of sunlight that brings into Batman's world. In the words of Tim Drake himself, Batman needs a Robin. And that's another area where these past movies have been failing, is that, we got a Robin, we got a Batgirl in the 90s version with George Clooney, which
that's what I'm just looking up now. The original title of that movie was actually Batman
and Robin.
So does that make you want to change your title at all? So as not to be confused as a remake for the 1997 nipple chest-plated Batman.
You know, I think we should still go for it. Batman and Robin is such an iconic comic title. So that's where it also could be confusing that it's not based off of the Batman and Robin comic, nor the Batman and Robin movie. It's Robin Reborn. But I still think that is the definitive title. Because it's a partnership, really.
Yeah.
And equal screen time, Batman, Robin. And it should be Tim Drake. It always should be Tim Drake.
You know, I don't think we've had a major movie with Tim Drake in it. So,
no.
Honestly, even Jason, not too much. Only in Titans that I can think of, Jason makes an appearance.
Jason was in Titans. So. His suit was memorialized in Zack Snyder's Batman vs. Superman, I believe, he was in there. And it wrote, like, Joker was here across of it. Like, okay, fine. Which implies that Dick Grayson was in that, but it completely erases the possibility of Tim Drake because Tim Drake comes, well, I guess there is a slight possibility, but Tim Drake comes immediately after Jason Todd under the Red Hood.
Yeah, it would have been interesting to see if they could have worked Tim Drake into the DCEU. I'm sure they could not have because it's the DCEU. They haven't really been able to perform anything incredibly spectacularly.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, if they introduced Tim Drake into it, they would have butchered him. To be honest, it's too complex of a character for to be in, I don't know, Suicide Squad realm. So, yeah, so that's basically it. Before I go into more specifics, I would love to hear
I have some
your
questions.
second round. Okay, hit me.
So this would just be a feature film?
This would be a featured film in a established universe.
Established universe. Okay, that's what you're thinking. Is this going to be the opener to the established universe, or is this going to be... is it going to be a preceding Batman movie?
The opener would be another movie, but not a Batman movie.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
if we had a Superman movie, if we had a Wonder Woman movie, if we had a Flash movie, that would be first. And then Batman and Robin. And then you can have subtle hints.
Okay, gotcha. So you wouldn't put the Batman movie above the Flash movie, potentially?
I think a Flash movie, you know, hasn't been done much, hasn't been done to death.
Hasn't been done at all, actually.
Yeah.
I still don't think there has been a solo Flash movie.
Maybe even not.
And I don't know what the status is of Ezra Miller's solo Flashpoint movie.
Flashpoint movie was going to be a mistake from the get-go.
Yeah, I'm hoping it gets reworked or canceled. I love Flash as a character. He's one of my favorites from DC, but I just think they're going too fast in the Flashpoint. For those of you who don't know, Flashpoint is like one of the probably one of the most major Flash storylines, and it involves like tons and tons of characters for DC. It'd be like kind of starting like the Marvel movies with like Infinity War, Civil War, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just far too big. You know what I mean?
It's far too big. So that's why we need a
12 movies of build up minimum.
a origin film for Flash, at least to start out. I mean, origin films, obviously, kind of beating a dead horse there, but we've never seen it with Flash.
A lot of people aren't aware of Flash's origin. Of Barry Allen's origin, at least, or any of the Flashes.
Getting struck by lightning is always makes for good movie.
Yeah, while you're holding chemical equipment.
Yes. So that's a completely other tangent for Flash.
Yeah, we could do a Flash one. That could be interesting.
Yeah, we can do Flash. But I feel like we need some sort of opener to introduce this kind of film series. Because if there were to be a preceding movie, that would also be heavily stylized. And it would have to be 50s, 60s Flash.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
Yeah, and then Wonder Woman would fit in there well.
So you're thinking specifically like Silver Age?
Silver Age
Well, I
comics.
guess that would be kind of like Golden Silver Age.
Yeah. I'm thinking it needs to be colorful. It needs to be heavily period. It needs to be it needs to have visual interest where Zack Snyder had kind of left us hanging.
Yeah. That's something you'll learn about us if you haven't picked up already, is that Zack Snyder... I have seen a lot of Zack Snyder movies, and none of them have really done it for me. You know what I mean? I've tried to like him, but...
Yeah.
I like Dawn of the Dead a bit.
But... Yeah. Watchmen's okay when it's exactly the novel on screen.
Exactly. Watchmen, the book was amazing. It's just like if he's working with good source material, he can film it, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't really know if he adds too much to the source material.
It only takes you so far.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So yeah, I think having Batman, Detective Batman is what I want. I don't want bickeruntled, old, angry Batman. I want middle-aged, experienced, but
not
still
quite Dark Knight Returns, like angry punishment Batman.
He's not branding anyone. He's not considering shooting anyone. He's just Batman.
Yeah.
He's
gotcha, that makes
Batman.
sense.
Yeah.
Well, is he going to be finding Tim Drake in this? Like,
what I want is
like, do you open where they're already like a team, or is it going to be like Batman's on the street kicking criminals' teeth in, and Tim needs to come and calm him down? Because that's almost where that's how the comic was originally, right?
Yes.
Like Batman was kind of going off the deep end, so Tim went in to save him.
Mm-hmm. I want it to be what is that term? In medias res.
Yeah, in media res, I think.
Media res. Where we kind of start in the towards the beginning of Tim and Bruce's relationship. Tim is already Robin, and that as the movie goes on, we get bits and pieces that there was a previous Robin. There was 2 previous Robins and a Batgirl, and we don't see them. We don't know where they are. We don't know what happened to Jason, but he's a sore topic with Batman. And then, like in some big second act climax, it's hit straight on. It's just a big blow up between them, a big like this is what happened to Jason explored the movie, and then that creates interest for the audience who, either if they don't know who Jason Todd is, it's going to be this is what happened to him, and finally we get that resolution there. Or if you do know who Jason Todd is, it's like, oh, there it is. Like, he was killed by the Joker, and I was like building tension until that rose up.
Gotcha. Okay, so are you assuming some level of like general Batman knowledge going into this movie, or do you want to try to have it like accessible, sort of for the standard Batman people?
For a standard Batman person.
Like, just like, let's say someone's working knowledge is just like the Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight. Okay. So I want them coming in, maybe not knowing there's multiple Robins, maybe not knowing.
Yeah, that could actually be interesting.
About Batgirl. And then that could be a big reveal for them, is that, like, you were not the only Robin. Like, you are a predecessor. And that opens the door for an Under the Red Hood sequel, which I was going to originally include. That would change up the timeline just a little bit. But I was going to originally choose that, and then I wanted more of a familial. Well, there's a lot of familial elements in Under the Red Hood, but it's very angry. It's very angry Jason, very disowning Bruce and all that. And I want Tim Drake, who is the most detective-like out of all of them, to kind of have that shining moment.
Gotcha. So you are leaning fully into the detective aspect of Batman.
Yes.
Cool. And that's actually something I was doing too. So
Great.
This could be a good segue into
I'm excited.
I picked one of my favorite Batman comics by Jeff Loeb, The Long Halloween by Batman.
Yes, of course.
So The Long Halloween is, I feel like, a great introduction to Batman if you haven't read any Batman. It's a pure detective Batman. Like, it's he's essentially trying to find like a killer. So it's pure detective comics. DC.
If you will.
If you will. Yeah. But it's really good. So here's the format that I want it to be in. I would like it to be an HBO series. So actually an anthology series.
Okay.
And this would just be like one season. Would just be The Long Halloween. Am I allowed to do this? Does this count as a film?
This counts. It's an
box
extended
office.
series for the long. Yes.
So I was thinking that there could just be like an Elseworlds series would be the whole thing.
Okay.
And these would be just one season would focus on one hero. And unlike comic books, these actually typically would not relate to each other much.
Okay.
Because getting interconnectability is kind of tough, you know what I mean? But having Elseworlds would allow first-time people to come in and really get to know new characters or see new characters in ways they haven't seen by using pre-existing stories.
Okay.
Now, I don't think that Long Halloween was in the Elseworlds line. For those unaware, Elseworlds in DC is sort of out of the main canon of DC films, where writers and authors can kind of just play around with their favorite characters and put them in situations that fall outside or conflict with their standard character. So I think the Long Halloween would be great for an HBO style series because it's like less. Batman is a less like sort of action heavy character or CGI heavy character is what I really mean. Like someone like Superman would be a lot tougher. But Batman, especially in like this very like detective role, it's a little bit more stagnant, but there is still pretty good action. But it would be a lot cheaper for that reason, which is nice. And the way that this comic is set up is that I believe it's 12 issues, one for every month being a different holiday included in it that's major, and every issue focuses on one main villain. Okay. So I think that would be interesting to have one villain per episode, having roughly hour episodes. So it'd be like 12 hours long to fully do it justice.
How many episodes were you thinking? 4?
I was thinking 12. I was thinking one episode per comic issue, which I think could actually be done in this one.
Yes.
So that is what I was thinking for my pick. I'm thinking that would be good because while driving back from Pittsburgh today, I was thinking some of the strengths of comic books. And I think that, some of the strengths of comic books are their interconnectivity, which I'm actually not going for.
Yeah.
I think that the best way to translate comics into movies is to kind of slowly introduce interconnectivity, or just try to, because we haven't seen too much interconnectivity in movies outside of the Marvel cinematic universe and DCEU, which didn't work fully as well. You know what I mean? Because they rushed it.
Yeah.
So that's why I think a TV show would be the best way to do it. Because essentially you get a lot more content out than movies. Okay. Whereas movies would typically be like 1 or 2 a year. If you do one season a year, you can cover way more content than movies. And I think that HBO is the only people that have the sort of budget to do superheroes justice. But even still, I am starting with sort of
a lower budget,
street level tale of Batman in this one.
Okay. And while you were talking, I wrote a couple things down. I have a couple questions about this.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't mind me asking.
Ask away.
The first is, I've read a little bit of Long Halloween, but I'm not as familiar with it. So we are talking about young Batman, correct?
This would be pre any Robbins, so he would be pretty young. Maybe he's been doing it for 5-6 years. Okay. So he's like maybe 33, 34. Yeah. So pretty young as far as he goes.
So that leads me into my second question, is that what would be the benefit of doing Long Halloween over Batman Year One?
So Batman Year One is something we've actually kind of seen already in Batman Begins, which is like heavily inspired by it. I was thinking about that, but I think that this would really display the detective qualities of Batman, which we didn't really see too much in the Nolan universe. You know what I mean? But we might be able to see with Robert Pattinson. Batman.
Yeah.
Patman.
We're excited about it. Yes.
Yeah, that's gonna be more of a grittier, like noir. I don't know if it's gritty, but it's gonna be noir for sure.
I'm excited for noir. Obviously, big fans of Detective Batman. So we're thinking young but established detective.
I was thinking young. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you said not to interconnect as much in this Elseworlds.
That's actually what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yes. So as you know, there is a Watchmen series coming out on HBO right now.
Very excited for it.
Yes. Would there be a possibility for your Batman to meet with those Watchmen?
You know, I don't actually think there would be. Just because Watchmen takes place in a totally separate world. You know what I mean? I would kind of like them to just not connect. Unless, I don't know.
So Doomsday Clock?
I do actually like Doomsday Clock. I haven't finished. I'm not caught up on it yet. But I think that's something that's tough to introduce. I guess if they have both properties on HBO, it could be done. But I would prefer to see other stories told before Doomsday Clock is told. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For example, like Red Sun, I would love to see.
Yes.
Or like The Longbow Hunter. with Green Arrow, which I haven't read, but I heard is awesome. I think that would be perfect for like an HBO show.
Yeah. Okay. So, I was gonna ask you your villain choices.
It's actually pretty much all of them.
Really, all of them?
Because every chapter has a different villain.
Okay.
Which is crazy. Like, even, like, small background villains, like, what's his name? Calendar Man?
Calendar Man?
Calendar Man is, like, a sort of Hannibal Lecter-esque consultant for Batman on this, because this is somebody who's killing people on holidays.
Okay.
He's searching for the holiday killer. And so he consults Calendar Man as, like, an expert killer witness.
Killer. Okay.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. I also wanted to introduce the possibility of end credit scenes. How do you feel about that? Would you want the end credits to be used in a certain way that would build up your personal series, or would you want end credits to be more of an interconnectivity?
You're thinking an end credits at the end of every episode?
At the end of every episode. Are we introducing the next one, or are we dropping subtle hints about a extended universe?
Yeah, I guess there could be subtle hints. Oh, you know what? Because I was thinking that, like, this would go full Elseworlds after this, so... I only mean, like, maybe they could reference, like, Superman or something like that. So, like, he is, like, doing stuff in the background, but there's not going to be much chance of, like, seeing him, you know what I mean? I think it's going to be made clear that, like, we're not going to be seeing anybody else.
Okay.
But I don't necessarily want to just ignore, like, the larger world around it. I don't think it makes sense in this universe to, like, talk about the Justice League as a whole.
Okay.
Just because it's kind of outside the scope of what I was trying to do with this, you know what I mean? Like, it kind of takes you out of, like, a street-level crime thing if they're talking about, like, aliens or Green Lanterns and things like that. Which I'm interested in, just not in this specific Batman story.
Okay.
So, maybe, if anything, I would reference, like, other Batman things, but try to stay away from doing the larger universe.
Okay. That does make sense. Not to go off on a tangent, but I also wanted to ask you which other heroes you think would go well with your proposed format on HBO.
You know, if it worked well the first season and they could get a higher budget for the second season, I think Red Sun would be incredible for Superman.
Yeah.
Especially after the success of Chernobyl.
Yes.
Maybe it's because of Chernobyl, I just want to see another thing set in Soviet Russia. From HBO.
Beautiful place there.
So, that would be really fantastic. Maybe it could be a main, like, title character every time in, like, a different Elseworlds sense.
I like the Elseworlds concept in the fact that you could introduce smaller characters that may not do well in a box office situation, but may do well on a sort of extended TV show format.
Yeah, I think also Elseworlds might be, like, it's almost like a compromise between movies and comics, in that it is accessible for people, like, who haven't been fully immersed in, like, the universe. Like, they don't know the full, like, Justice League going-ons and things like that. But, it'll still, like, appease comic fans who wanted to see that brought to visualization on the screen forever. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, at least that's what I would personally be interested in seeing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But HBO producing anything, I'm going to be all over it.
Okay. So, those are both our proposals. So, I guess now we either compromise or we debate.
Okay, well, we can talk about the things we agreed about on first.
Okay.
So first, I think we both want to see Detective Batman.
We want to see Detective Batman, yes.
I think that you want to see Robin more than I want to see Robin.
I do want to see Robin, but I think Robin could also work very well in your Elseworlds kind of proposal.
Yeah, no, I agree. There could be an entire, like, Robin series, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, one season could be focused on Robins, which would be cool.
Yeah, because I did pick a Robin-focused book, so it could be this Rebirth, Chuck Dixon work, or, you know, we can go Robin Wars, we can go Court of Owls. You can do...
that would actually be really cool.
Yeah, a Court of Owls book?
Court of Owls, like, pure, all, like, Robins, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not focusing so much on Batman, but on all the... Yeah, seeing anything with all the Robins working together would be fantastic. Titans got, like, close. Like,
Titans almost there.
Yeah.
I would love to see a series that's just, you know, Batman's off-world, the Robins and the girls have to protect Gotham, and if something big happens, and they have to deal with it.
They could even just like mention it, like they could just talk about going out with Batman in the background, but they still got their own stuff going on.
Yeah,
like Batman is clearly doing more important things, and he just like relegated them, which is still crazy important.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of even heightens the Batman even more when they're like, if Batman doesn't have time to do this, like what is he doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I do like that. Okay, maybe that could be our compromise, and then it's just have 4 Robins working together, because they all really haven't gotten like justice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As far as the big screen goes.
Mm-hmm. And we haven't seen Damian at all.
No, we've never seen Damian. No. And not in live action, and rarely in animation.
Yeah.
Only in Young Justice, from what I can think of.
Young Justice, Baby Damian. There's also like small Batman animated movies, like straight to DVD type stuff, which Damian's in. But Damian's characterization is hard, because you're either getting super bratty, assassin Damian when he's first adopted by Bruce, or you're getting more mellow, animal loving kid with a heart of gold with a rough exterior Damian, which is more interested to me.
Yeah,
I'd say
that makes sense to me for sure. And they could almost be like a Super Sons.
Super Sons, that would be fantastic, I think.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, so, yeah, I think we could, so do you want to call it that? You want to call it a series of just all the Robins hanging out, essentially?
Yeah, so let's say Batman Long Halloween HBO series, followed by, in unrelated, I guess.
Yeah, it'd be, like, totally separate. Even, like, maybe even, like, totally different directors, different stylistically, things
My
like
period piece.
It could be a period piece.
My period piece.
It's Elseworld, so.
60s, 70s. It's Elseworld.
Anything
do
goes.
Whatever we want. I think, I want to see family dinners. I want to see Alfred.
Yeah, what's interesting about this is that every season could almost serve as a pilot for, like, a larger series if there was enough fan response to it.
Yeah.
But I do like anthologies a lot in the style of American Horror Story.
Okay.
Where every season's just totally unique.
Yeah.
So I do like that.
I would love that.
Yeah, because that allows you to cover a lot of ground and make a lot of things in DC that we want to see.
It's fan service.
It's just fan service. Yeah. While the comic books have been around so long, and there's still so much that hasn't been done. Mm-hmm. Especially within the last 40 years.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, we'll go with that. The HBO long series. I feel like there are some other elements that we had included in regards to cinematography and style and tone. But the thing is, with this Elseworlds thing that we're proposing, it can.
This is a big compromise.
It can vary drastically.
Even between
series and episodes.
So. Which is a major benefit of television over movies in general, is flexibility of, because typically TV shows are different directors for multiple episodes. Mm-hmm. So I actually really like that, how they do that.
And the thing is with Batman and himself being a dual-sided character, you have Bruce Wayne, who is the Prince of Gotham, who is always wearing nice suits and is going out to charity galas and all that, and then you have Batman during the night, who's obviously the Dark Knight, and he brings the darkness. He goes to the darkest place of Gotham, so that can lead into we have a Bruce Wayne-centric episode, and then following right through the end credits to the next episode, we have a Batman-centric episode, which is just all completely tonally different.
Totally, yeah. That's what I'm interested in. Because comic books have so many different writers, even between issues and series. I think it makes sense for series to have different directors and things like that as they progress, so different people can sort of leave their mark on their character and things like that. So
all right, so we're nearing almost 40 minutes, so do we want to do a couple speed rounds right now?
Yeah, I could do a speed round just of comic books that we want to see, movies, or just movie things that we want to talk about,
whatever you want to pitch me as a movie, and I will pitch you as well. And then we pass on them, or we seal the deal and send them to the studio.
Yeah, I'll try to think of something non-superhero related. We've done very superhero heavy in the past 2 episodes.
Yes.
So.
Yes. So I was thinking, in regarding to what we've talked about this episode, to kind of bring it tied in tonally. It is a limited series. It's on Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime.
Yes,
all right.
It's on Amazon Prime, which is the birthplace of Marvelous Miss Maisel. So that leads us into you guessed it, a period piece. It is 30s noir detective.
Big noir detective day, huh?
All black and white.
Nice.
And he gets transported into a alternate universe where everything is in color. And he finds a Rubik's Cube. Very, very impressed by that. And then he finds a group of people who are look exactly like him. And they are also Spider-Man.
Oh yeah? Is it Spider Noir?
It's Spider Noir. I want a Spider Noir movie.
A full Spider Noir movie would be pretty cool. With Nick Cage.
Nick Cage.
It's one of the better roles I think Nick Cage took for me that I can think of at least.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe voice acting is just his calling. He only had 10 lines in Into the Spider-Verse.
But I think he could carry a full 2-hour major motion picture.
I think he could, especially if it became not black and white.
I would love it in black and white. I will not compromise full black and white for children.
It would be crazy to see a modern movie released fully in black and white, a major blockbuster.
Yeah.
That hasn't been done in 80 years.
The studio would give us a hard time. They have their orange and blue filters that they would want to put on it, but that's it. That's the whole movie.
That does actually. I mean, I would love more Spider Noir. I'm hoping that his character wouldn't be too it wouldn't get worn out because he did have very minimal dialogue. You know what I mean? But if it's the same people that made Into the Spider-Verse, and if they were as passionate about it as Into the Spider-Verse, I'm sure it could be really good.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And the people who made Into the Spider-Verse are actual Spider-Man illustrators for the comics.
Oh, that's cool.
Miles Morales.
It was stylistically incredible.
Yes. So I think Spider Noir could be really cool. Give them all spin-offs.
So,
or just another Miles Morales.
Yeah, absolutely. A live action Miles Morales would be ridiculously good.
We might be heading that direction, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I guess we'll see after Far From Home is released.
Yeah.
I mean, when people are listening to this in 2040, there's probably going to
be Miles Morales.
There's going to be dozens of movies on Miles Morales by then.
Yeah. That's
and
the
lunchbook lines and stuff Lunchbox lines.
Lunchbox, like the tin ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More people are going to know about Miles Morales than Peter Parker by then.
Yeah.
So.
I hope so. That's my future, my ideal future.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't really have a pitch for a movie, but I have something interesting in a movie that I want to talk about.
Okay.
Have you ever seen The Matrix, Meg?
I have not seen The Matrix, but I'm a big fan of Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, I found out it's on Netflix, so I was watching the first 20 minutes of it with my friends. It's got a green-black color scheme.
Green-black.
Really? Yeah, because it's a computer.
Like a computer, coding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So at least the part that I was watching, I saw it. I've seen it in its entirety, but that was 10 years ago. 12.
Yeah.
But super interesting for that reason.
Yeah.
It's designed to look like a computer screen.
Uh-huh.
That's awesome. I'm gonna be finishing it up soon, probably.
Yeah, that brings up an interesting kind of topic in regarding to color schemes in movies. Obviously, I think we've kind of poked fun at blue and orange movies.
Yeah.
A little bit, but there's value in that. There's when they teach you filmmaking and cinematography and stuff like that. A theme that you're gonna hear reoccurring is complementary colors, and obviously blue and orange, they look pretty nice on a movie sometimes when it's done right. But we don't see as much red and green, and we don't see as much yellow and purple.
Yeah, I thought this was especially interesting that they weren't complementary at all. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's pure green.
Yeah.
Kind of a washed out green. Yeah. It did come out in I think it was the early 2000s. It might have been the year 2000 or 2001.
Yeah.
That The Matrix came out. So it looks a bit dated, but it's cool what they were going for,
Mhm.
Because all filters kind of make movies look dated, I think.
Yeah.
Case in point, look at any screenshot from The Fast and Furious.
Or The Phantom Menace.
Bright orange. Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think what kind of sets movies apart now is their cinematography and their, obviously in regards in addition to screenwriting, but when we look at directors like Wes Anderson who have a very particular image that they portray in their movies, those are the things that stand out in people's minds.
Mm. Have you ever heard of a movie doing purple and yellow as color schemes?
Yeah, I think yellow's tricky because you never want somebody to look yellow.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like have a yellow skin tone.
Yeah.
Something like sickly.
Yeah. But that's the same thing with orange. It can look very bad tan, or with green it can look sickly too. It's all about your.
But because you said you've seen green and red before, which is something I've never seen.
Green and red, I've seen it in a couple, actually Asian movies that I've kind of perused before.
Oh, that's interesting.
The color red in Asian countries, especially China, I believe, could be a very sacred color. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I can't correct you.
I think no, so. I think the color red is big in a tradition over there. So that could be why. It could just be it's more of a trend with Asian directors. But with a Robin movie, that would be a perfect way to introduce red and green.
I feel like you could almost say Kill Bill had like a yellow color scheme, just because yellow is such a big color, and she's just wearing like a yellow jumpsuit with black stripes essentially the whole movie.
Yeah, yellow, black, and red.
Yeah, and that's interesting. But
yeah,
Tarantino does use like red a lot, especially with blood.
Yeah, Tarantino is a loaded topic, and we can talk more about that.
I've thought about Tarantino in terms of his like stylistic choices, in terms of like use of like hyper violence and things like that, but I haven't really looked at his like shot composition or cinematography. I know he's a big fan of like really like single take long shots.
Yes.
Which I like that a lot. That's cool. Because that almost makes it gives it an element of more like theater acting when it's a very long composition shot.
Yeah.
It gives the actors more of a chance to perform in their role if they have to memorize 5 minutes of like dialogue and cues and things like that.
Yeah.
As opposed to just 30-second cuts of dialogue, which I assume are filmed.
Yeah.
They might just be filmed in a large chunk. I don't know if they're filmed or it's like cut. It's like stop.
It could
start.
be different shots.
I guess it's different films and different shots. Yeah.
I think what you're talking about with the long shot definitely has merit. It's theatrics, like you said. It's choreography, and that's not just the actors, but the guys on the cameras, the grips, the directors.
Absolutely.
It's all of them
working
together.
The rigging is almost most impressive in those.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a moving camera and
they have to focus as they. Yeah.
There's a famous one in Kill Bill.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah.
All right. So we're rearing 45 minutes here. So just as a recap, today we went over some of our favorite Batman comics in attempt to figure out which format would be the best for the Caped Crusader. And what we have tentatively agreed on is a HBO extended series that could be supplemented with more movies in an Elseworlds type format. So
I know I would be interested in watching that.
I know. I think we all would. Yeah. So I also received 3 DVDs of Star Wars paraphernalia, which I'll thank you again for that, Stephen.
Yeah, you can frame them too if you want.
Yeah, I'll just put them straight in the frame.
It's also funny that they're not like the original CDs. They were like burned. So they might be illegal goods that somebody was trying to dump.
They could be like filmed in a theater, like bootlegged.
Yeah, I'm actually really interested in booting these up, but I don't want my Xbox to explode from a virus.
I hope it's
techno virus that comes in.
I almost hope it's fan made. Think Michael
remake.
Cera in Arrested Development. I hope that's what it is. So maybe next episode we'll update you on what has happened with these 3 very revered Star Wars
rare
discs.
DVDs.
Very vintage.
Collector's edition.
There could be the Christmas movie on one of these discs. We don't even know.
You're talking about the Chewbacca Christmas movie?
Yeah.
The Wookiee Christmas one?
It could be on one of these.
I think that's one of the worst rated movies. in all of human history.
Yeah.
From what I'm aware of.
Yeah, I mean, there's a possibility that we could be watching that. So, we'll keep that for the suspense for our viewers that have made it this far. So, I'd like to thank everyone for listening out there. Stay in touch. We're putting out episodes once a week currently on Sundays. So, I'm Meg. It was a pleasure to have you guys here, and maybe we'll talk about going live at one point. But that's a conversation we have to have. So
with our technical managers.
Yeah, us in other words.
That's us.
So, thanks for watching. This is What If, the podcast about movies that don't exist. I'm Meg.
And I'm Steve.
Thanks for listening.
Goodbye.